discord.gg/flatearth.
And then seeing how long it took to come back, and then I don't know, read and all that stuff. How do you measure the distance to the Earth?
There is no. So the magic trick there is that there is no measurement. So if you're gonna make an assumption that the Earth is something, and then use some calculations on a model, then you could construct what you can project on someone's mind. But it'll only work as a magic trick. It'll only work as a magic trick in someone's mind, and it doesn't comport over to reality. So when the person says, okay, you're telling me that it's a globe by way of these calculations, and I see all these numbers you're putting down, right? Like all these numbers you have. Mm-hmm. But when I go check these numbers, man, they're not lining up. I don't see no drop over distance with the 8 inches per mile squared. That's not coming up. And so this is where they get their hand caught in the cookie jar, right? Where the magic trick fails, and you see the other hand, and you're just like, bro, you have the rabbit in your other hand. So you start seeing the magic trick. But you don't see it when they're telling you with pictures, they're showing you video. That's the magic trick. That the calculation that you type into Google, oh, what is the radius, diameter, circumference? It gives you the values, and you got like fisheye lenses. So they land-based you with all the indoctrination. Like that's the magic trick. But when you say, okay, you're telling me the globe is this size, that's fine. Now let me go out onto the field and let me do some long distance measurements. I'm gonna find out if there's some drop over distance to add up to what you're telling me, right? To if it's curving like the way you say. And that's what I'm saying. When you match it up to what they're saying, it don't line up, bro. There is no curvature to be found. So that's what we have right now. We got like this real nice, cool magic trick with all their little props and whatnot. And then when we put it to the test, it was like there is no globe whatsoever, not even a little bit. But what they use is they hijack certain things, right? Like they're gonna hijack perspective. They're gonna tell you when you see the sky and the way your perspective works, then that means that it's a globe because you can see like it's a dome. The way it looks from like when the sun's rising in the east, setting in the west, it looks like it's moving up and around your head and back down again. So they're going to use that kind of information to hijack perspective and make it seem like the magic trick is working in your mind. So now it's like a globe in your head because you see an arc happening. So that on top of words, they're going to do a little wordplay too. Like the word level, the first adjective is saying that there's no part of the earth higher than another, but it's conforming to the liquid parts of the earth. That's in Merriam-Webster dictionary. That's the first adjective to the word level. They're going to hijack the word level, and they're going to make it sound like it's talking about level meaning curve. So they're going to do a couple things, right? They're going to give you some numbers. They're going to hijack perspective, and they're going to hijack some of the words you use when you say level. So now all this magic trick that they're pulling, they're the ones like orchestrating it. Your mind is all over the place. You're like, dude, these guys ain't lying, man. When I see the sun, it looks like it's like an arc over my head. So it's got to be like a globe. What else can it be? You know what I'm saying? And then the word level is taken out of context and all this other shit. But the only line of defense, I'm telling you right here, here's what you got against them, is that you can take what they're saying, go out into the field and measure that shit. And when you do, your eyes are open, your mind is blown, and you're like, fuck, dude, these guys have been lying to me. Like, look at this shit. I can see way farther than they're telling me to. That's when it hits you. When you start testing that shit. Other than that, bro, you're just going to be like arguing for them. And you can't get past that. So the only way it's going to ever happen to anyone that comes in here is when they actually put it to the test, and they can verify that shit. There's like, there is no curvature whatsoever when I do my long distance measurements. That's it. But the magic trick is happening right now, so that everybody's mind is thinking about like SpaceX and like ISS floating around and showing you images and live feeds, and that's all the magic trick, and it's gonna keep coming at people. It's gonna get even more and more and more.
Their magic trick's failing. They got bubbles in space, CGI. Their heads are disappearing. Their hands are pulling on harnesses. Can only go so far.
So when you are telling somebody like, or explaining to them about what the truth is, you can go against everything that is like the magic trick, right? You can tell them, look, the word level, it doesn't mean what they're telling you. If you tell them like perspective is being hijacked and all this other stuff, they couldn't see past the globe until they can go and test it. So they're gonna be arguing with you for the globe. They're gonna be like, nah, bro, you misunderstand. The word level does mean exactly what they're saying. It does mean that it's curving. And the perspective that you're telling me, no, that don't work, bro, because it is a globe. That's why they can see the way they see. And so they're gonna fight you on the point for point discussions. When they're not going to fight you is when you actually have them go look for themselves and do the research and go to the field and test it out. Other than that, you're just going to argue about like who's right and who's wrong. It's going to be a very difficult battle for you. I'm not saying you couldn't convince them that way, or at least plant the seed, but I'm saying there'll be a lot more resistance instead of them going and actually figuring it out for themselves.